Page 21, Casey Jones. On page 20, they're introducing another major scale. We've had C major, no sharps or flats. We've had G major, 1 sharp. We've had D major, 2 sharps. Now we get F major. F major has 1 flat, a B flat. F major is a little different than the other scales because the fingering, the black key's not in the right spot. And I couldn't play an F major scale correctly for years. It just didn't work for me. It wasn't until I got into college and started doing those trill exercises that I had to do, like I show up in the videos, that it finally came around. Okay, I can do it. So F major. Remember this, the pattern, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. If I start on an F and I use that pattern, I get an F major scale. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. See, the only black key was the B flat. My problem is in the right hand, it's in the wrong spot for the F. Here. So I have to do a 4. Well, that makes the thumb having to come down here. Here. I couldn't do that for ages because my thumb just didn't want to reach. I had to come here and doing all kinds of stuff. If you just do that trill exercise, the relax and the whole bit that I explain in the video, the scale video, this comes. You got to turn a little bit, but it comes. Eventually. The left hand's the same as the others. So it's the same fingering. It's just the right hand that's messed up. So I'll go do my scale video on F major. 1 octave up and down, the accents, the wrist thingy-bunjiggers, and the trill exercise. Very important. Now let's see what Casey's up to. I look it over, it's a page long. Treble bass clef. 1 flat in the key signature. We're in the key of F major, so all the B's are going to be B flat automatically. And 4/4 time signature. 8th note's going crazy again. They sure like the 8th notes, don't they? Right hand first. Let's see what we are. We're here. So 1 and 2 and 3. Second measure. 1 and 2 and that's just ties. Just hang on to it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now last measure. First line, you're here. Scratch up. See, 1 and 2 and then to go on, you got to use a little finger again. It's a new phrase. You can get away with that. It's okay. I don't care for it because, again, I want to connect all the notes with the fingers if I can. I'll do the phrasing later. I'd like to connect that. Well, to do that, I got to change the fingering a little bit. So what I got, because of this extra note they stuck in there, it messed me up. I need an extra finger. So a lot of times we'll use the thumb as the extra finger. So in the third measure, you're here. Rather than second finger, I'm going to come up and use thumb. Now I can use second finger. Then I got them all. Now I can use little finger. I just changed hand positions temporarily to let me connect the notes, is all. I just hit the thumb, and now I'm... Now you don't have to finger it the way I'm suggesting here. There's different fingering styles. There's different ways of doing this. And if you'd rather not be doing that, because it's too weird or whatever, I don't care what the reason is, use fingering in the book. Just know you got to use the little finger again going on. But I'm going to use the thumb on that C in the third measure. Now I can use 2 and do that. But you do whatever your teacher tells you to do. Last 2 measures of the second line, you're here. 1 and 2 and. Don't forget the B flat, it's in the key signature. 2. There's other fingerings for this too, but we'll leave that fingering alone, fine. Third line down, it's 1 and 2 and 3. Again, if this rhythm is bothering you, take out the tie and play all the notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's what it is. And then when you can do that okay, then you just hang on to the note, tie it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then it went up here. Well, that don't work. I don't want to go from here to here. I can, but I don't want to. So I'm going to use second finger on the half note. I can use second finger on both of them. And now I can reach, I'm a little closer to where I want to be. If I can't quite reach it, I'm close. I'd rather do that than this. So I'm going to use second finger there in the third line on the C. Here. So I'm a little closer to where I want to be for the next measure. Here. Come down again, same ones. 2. Again. Each time I get this, I'm using second finger. Now the last time, the last 2 measures, now I can use third finger. Left hand, this is a very common pattern, especially in boogie woogies. Rather than you're just up here, and you're not here, you're up here. Some people would try and cross over. I only do that if this note is way far away, like an octave. Way far away, but when I get close enough, I'm going to do this. And that's pretty much the left hand. Now let's put the hands together and see what we get with this. Here, here, different fingers now. Hold on to the right hand, it's tied. Through and I'll put the hands together. Then I'll go back over just a few measures at a time, or a line at a time, or whatever, and work out the hesitations. See, how much you pick a chunk of it to learn to get rid of the hesitations depends on how many hesitations you got, and so forth, how hard it is. Maybe you do the whole line and get rid of the hesitations. If that's too many hesitations in there, then stop. Maybe it's just a measure at a time. I don't know on your situation how much you're struggling to learn this or how quick you're getting it. But the more you're struggling, then the shorter your chunks got to be. So it's like a measure at a time. Then get rid of the hesitations in the first measure. And when you do that, then go to the second measure and do the same. Just do it a measure at a time if you need to. However, I want to warn you, when getting rid of hesitations and working it out, only work on the parts where you're hesitating. For instance, if I got these first 2 measures, no hesitations, then I'm not going to play them anymore for a while. I set them aside. Focus on the parts where you're hesitating. If you spend a lot of your time constantly playing the stuff you can already play, you're really kind of wasting time. You need to work on the stuff you cannot play. Then when you get all the hesitations worked out, then you go back and put it all together. You'll hear people, I've heard them in recitals, when they play a piece and at the beginning they got it, they nailed it. It's good, sounds great. They get into the piece, they'll make a mistake here and there. And the deeper in they get, the more mistakes, until when they get to the end, it's clear they don't know the piece. Well, the reason is because when they practiced it, they always started at the beginning and tried to go through each time. So the beginning got a lot of practice. They got that down. But they didn't always get all the way through. And that's why when you're learning it to get rid of the hesitations, don't be playing stuff you can already play. Only focus on the stuff you can't play. Get that ironed out. There's different ways of approaching it. We'll talk more later. Well, I'll talk more later. You get to listen. Now, once the hesitations are gone, I add the articulation. Here they give us nothing except maybe a few staccatos. Staccatos at the end of the second line, short. At the wrist, bump, bump, bump. And again, the last measure, staccatos. Otherwise, you get nothing. Well, once you get into it and you start feeling it, if you feel staccatos occasionally or accents occasionally, stick them in. Try things, experiment. Then the dynamics applies to the melody. It's the right hand, loud. This, soft. And it looks like that's the only dynamic you get is loud. Oof, that's boring. Noisy locomotive, I guess, is if you feel getting a little louder and softer, do it. You're staying in the loud area, but you don't have to be exactly loud through the whole thing. And then the speed. Well, it's a locomotive. How fast do you want to go? Huh? How fast do you want to go? If you can go that fast, you probably don't need this book. You can go on. However, and to help you out a little bit, there is a note at the bottom where you can swing the rhythm. It doesn't say that, but that's what it means. When you do long, short, you're swinging a 1 and 2 and 3. You feel this. 1, just short, long, short. 1. 1, 2, because that slows it way down when you do that. Because there's a limit to how fast or slow you can go swinging the rhythm. Almost doesn't swing anymore. It's too fast. So you just slow it down a little bit. You don't even have to take it that fast. You take it slow. Bum, bum, just let it kind of roll along. Slowly is fine. I don't know that Casey Jones is in a hurry. He's just got his engine going down the track leisurely, I guess. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. Now, this is after you can play it with no hesitations. I'll give us 4 counts. I'd say I'm not doing the dynamics, but there aren't any dynamics. So just give us 4 counts. I am going to swing the rhythm, though. 1 and 2 and ready and go. And